morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is you're tuning into this video, just make sure that it is good. My name is Game Boy Rob, and today we have yet another champion reveal for the upcoming Shurima set for Legends of Runeterra. You probably know this by now, but for those of you who don't know, the set hits on March 3rd. So I don't know exactly how many champions we're gonna have revealed, but there shouldn't be too many more. Like, we're probably gonna have today's reveals, tomorrow's reveals, then like maybe a reveal, one more reveal after that, but maybe not, and then we're just gonna be done. So this is one of the very last champions that's gonna be revealed for this upcoming set. Today's is LeBlanc, which I was not expecting. I was kind of thinking for Noxus it might be Cassiopeia, because she's like super related to Shurima. She's like the overlap between Shurima and Noxus, or one of them anyway. And we had Sivir yesterday. Cassiopeia has a relationship with Sivir, so I thought maybe that was what's gonna happen, but nope, it is not. It is LeBlanc. So without further ado, let's see what LeBlanc is all about. I have played LeBlanc a lot in League of Legends. She was one of my original mains. She's one of the only assassins I've ever played in League, so I do have a certain kinship with her. We are I'm looking forward to seeing what she does, and I will stop rambling there and we'll take a look at what the heck is going on with this champion. Let's see it. Let's find out.
The best lies are beautiful.
Okay, let's take up what the heck. 3 mana, 5/2 with quick attack. Wow, that's all. Wow. Oh wow, that's actually a really good card. What the heck? 3 mana, 5/2 with quick attack. So like, this dies to get to a lot of stuff, right? This dies to Mystic Shot, this dies to Get Excited, this dies to a lot of removal very easily. But it's a 5/2 with quick attack for 3 mana. That's excellent. What the heck? Okay, let's keep going. And then she levels up when she sees you deal 15 damage, which is an interesting level requirement. It's like half of a Sivir level requirement. And she goes very well with Reputation, so like apparently they want you to play her with Sivir.
Places to go, people to be.
People to be. Ooh.
Surprised to see me.
Okay.
Are you certain?
Okay, so she gets challenged, right? Which should kill her. All right, is there something that's gonna save her? Bloody Business, fast speed spell for 4 mana. An ally with 5+ power strikes an enemy. An ally with 5+ power strikes an enemy. That's an interesting card. Okay.
I've been expecting you.
All right, and this levels her up. Okay, she's now leveled. The little level up voice line was a little iffy, but the animation was really cool. All right, so now she's a 6/3 with quick attack, and then she says, each time I see you deal 15+ damage, create a mirror image in hand. If you already have one, reduces cost by 1 instead. Each time I see you deal 15+ damage? So she's kind of like Lux. She's kind of like Lux, right? You get the leveling, you do her quest once and she levels up, and then every time after you do that quest again, you get a thing to your hand. And we don't know what a mirror image is. Okay.
I whisper truth.
Okay, she's got quick attack. Okay, sure. Black Rose Spy. Reputation, when I'm summoned, transform into the exact copy. Let's go back. Let's go back and read that card, shall we? Reputation. So Noxus is also getting Reputation cards, which makes sense, right? Like they should get Reputation cards. It makes sense flavor-wise. It makes sense with what those cards want to do. That makes a certain amount of sense. When I'm summoned, transform me. Okay, so 2 mana, 3/2. When I'm summoned, transform me into an exact copy of the strongest ally that struck this round. Or she's just a 2 mana, 3/2. It's either just a normal 2 mana, 3/2. But if you have Reputation active And if you don't remember what reputation is, reputation says I become active if you have struck with allies that have 5 or more attack 4 times this game. So this is like, if you've done that, if you've completed reputation, this is a transform me into an exact copy of the strongest ally that struck this
There's
round.
a rose blooming in the desert.
Oh, of course. So she's gonna become a second LeBlanc. Neat. Okay. Sigil of Malice. Okay, okay.
Right where I want you.
Oh god. And then we got mirror image. So this is the thing. This is the thing that you make in hand with LeBlanc. Mirror image slow. Summon an exact ephemeral copy of an ally with 5+ power.
Mirrors.
For slow at slow speed? Okay.
Seeing double. My move. Another rose for the garden.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I was really hoping LeBlanc would be a bit more tricksy, I guess. I was hoping she'd be a bit more like hard to hit. Like she'd have something like Fizz where like if you try to target her, you'll just miss because she's like moving around all the time. Her thing in League is that she like always like poofs, like she goes somewhere and then poofs back so that like you just missed her if the guy is skilled, but like that's all right. This works as well. This works as well. Okay, so we've brought up the all the cards that are revealed this set, right, alongside LeBlanc. So let us take a look at what we've got. So LeBlanc herself is a 3-mana 5/2 with quick attack, who levels up after seeing you deal I've seen you. This is an actual scene effect. So Sivers, if I remember right, let's scroll down to Siver here, is actually you've dealt 35 damage. LeBlanc has to actually see you do it, which is interesting. But she has 5 attacks, so, and she's in Noxus, so like Noxus has a lot of 5 attack units. This essentially is I've seen you strike with 3 units that have 5 or more attack. And also she factors in all sorts of other damage sources. This does include damage dealt to your own units, either through stuff like Noxian Fervor and what's the other one? The Imperial Demolitionist. But it also counts towards like Boxtopus and Crusty Codger. I know a lot of people like sticking Boxtopus and Crusty Codger in Noxus decks alongside Swain because they help Swain get his level up, and they should help LeBlanc get her level up too. If you have LeBlanc and you play one of those, she'll level up. So leveling her up probably won't be too hard, especially since she's in Noxus and there's lots of stuff like that which will help her. So that should be not the most difficult level up in the world, actually. That should go pretty quick, depending on what deck you're going up against, right? But she's only got 2 health, and there's nothing about her that actually stops that, right? There's nothing about LeBlanc that actually changes that. There's nothing about LeBlanc that actually helps LeBlanc survive. You just have to run her alongside stuff that can... You either have to run her alongside stuff that can protect her, or you have to just not run her in metas where there's a lot of removal, because she was going to get removed quite easily, right? She's gonna get removed quite easily, depending, right? Depending on the deck. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. And then she levels up. And then she doesn't do anything. I compared her to Lux earlier, right? Because she's kind of like Lux, where you have to do the quest, and then every time you finish the quest, you get a mirror, you get a thing to your hand, you get a mirror image, which is this. This one over here. But in this case, she doesn't create it the first time she levels up. It's not like she gets a mirror image just for leveling up. You have to have a LeBlanc see you deal 30 damage before you ever get a mirror image. But when she only costs 3 mana, and when she levels up, she just becomes a 6/3 with quick attack. And like, she helps herself see that because she's got a huge attack stat, right? So like she could be good. She could be good. Let's keep going. I don't know quite how to evaluate LeBlanc. We should look at the rest of her cards first. But let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Black Rose Spy. 2 mana 3/2. We saw this in the trailer. Reputation, transform me. When I'm summoned, transform me into an exact copy of the strongest ally that struck this round. That's so cool. This is a very cool card. It looks like this isn't even a skill. This is instant when you play this. So your opponent doesn't actually get to react to this. They just have to hope, you know, like you just get to play this and instantly get the thing, right? It's not like you can play this and then they'll get a skill and they can be like, uh-oh, I better frostbite their strongest unit. They don't get to do that. This is a good card. This, I think, is a really scary card in certain situations, right? This could just become a second Captain Farron. I mean, if Captain Farron strikes, you usually win the game, right? So you don't need that. But in like Overwhelm decks, this can just become a second Ancient Yeti. This can just become a second Darius. This is a really good card. This is a very scary card. All right. And then we got Sigil of Malice, which is LeBlanc's champ spell. 4 mana fast. Reputation I cost 1, and it deals 2 to anything. What the heck? This is a Mystic Shot that costs 4. However, if you have Reputation active, it's a Mystic Shot that costs 1. I mean, I don't know about that. Mystic Shot is really good in the first 4 turns of the game. The first 4 rounds, right? If you can cast Mystic Shot in like the first 4 rounds, it's really good. Getting a 1 mana Mystic Shot at like turn 6-ish, you know, which is I think a reasonable amount of time when you'll be getting Reputation active. I don't know about that one. That seems a little unnecessary. I think this is gonna have a problem which I talked about in the Sivir video yesterday. I feel like decks that can reliably activate Reputation are not going to want a 1 mana Mystic Shot that they can't use until later. Like, that's good, but I don't think that's a good payoff for the decks that can get Reputation. So I don't quite like that one. I mean, it's probably good as a second LeBlanc. You know, a second LeBlanc being a Sigil of Malice is probably fine, but I don't think I like it generally. I don't think you want to main deck that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Whispered Words. 4 mana burst speed spell in Noxus. Again, Reputation. So Reputation I cost 2. Draw 2. This is much, much, much better. Holy Jesus, what is that? This is a great card. Okay, unlike Sigil of Malice, this is actually an incredible card. This is 2 mana burst speed, draw 2. And the big difference between this card and Sigil of Malice is that obviously Reputation is something that you're gonna get like halfway through the game, right? If your deck is running well. And this will just refill. If you top deck this, if you play this late in the game, it's excellent. That's when you want to play cards that draw cards, right? You want to play draw spells sort of later in the game when you are running out of cards and you're running out of steam and you need to get a refill. And that's exactly sort of when this should be getting its discount, and that's when it's, you know, going to be better to play. This is a very good card. This is a very terrifying card. Again, Overwhelm decks are going to love this. Ooh, I am frightened. Whispered Words. Ooh, that's a frightening card. Yikes, that's a really strong card. Okay, let's keep going. Mimic. Another 3 mana burst. 3 mana burst speed, Reputation I cost 1. Wow, Reputation is really putting in some discounts here. Reputation I cost 1. Pick a spell in play or in hand. Pick a spell in play or in hand and create a fleeting copy of it in hand. And this could cost 1. So this is like, if you have Reputation active, this is like a Spell Thief, but it can copy your own spells if they're in hand. And if you know, if it's a slow speed spell or fast speed spell from your opponent, you can copy that as well, but it is going to be fleeting. Okay. This is like not quite as good. This is like a less good, what's that called? Spell Thief. This is like a less good Spell Thief, right? However, this has the ability to copy spells in your own hand at 1 mana, and the downside is that they're fleeting. And this is terrifying. This is utterly horrifying because this essentially allows a lot of decks to run 6 copies of Decimate in their deck. This card right here says, hello, yes, I am a 6 mana Decimate if you've activated Reputation. And that is, I think a deck that wants to run 5 cost or 5 attack units and then finish the game with Decimate. I think that is absolutely a deck that wants to be built. And I think Mimic will be pretty good in that deck. That's really scary, right? This is like a 4th or 5th Decimate, right? If you can activate Reputation. Oof. Oof. Oh, I don't like that. I mean, I love this card. I love what all the other things that this card can do, but that is probably what it's ultimately going to be used for. And that's really frightening. That's really scary. Now, it doesn't have to be done that, right? If you put this in your deck with the idea of copying your own Decimates, obviously there'll be games where you don't want to do that or you can't do that, and this will get value through other stuff. You can still copy other people's spells and stuff, but man, I didn't want a 6th. I didn't want to be able to give, you know, aggro decks 6 Decimates. That's really scary. That's really frightening. Okay. And then we got Bloody Business. We did see this one in the trailer. Fast speed, 4 mana, Noxian spell. An ally with 5+ power strikes an enemy. So this, you can kind of compare this to single combat, where your unit doesn't take damage. Maybe a Whirling Death. You can kind of compare this to Whirling Death, right? Except where Whirling Death can only be cast on 2 units that are both in combat, this doesn't have that restriction. Instead, it has the restriction of your unit must have 5 or more power. Which means if you go up against something like Frostbites, right, you use this, obviously you use this on a unit. I mean, anything that has to deal with striking like loses to Frostbites, right? 5+ power strikes an enemy. This has a lot of potential. This is good removal, and Noxus does not have very much good removal. So this is definitely going to hit decks. I think this is definitely going to hit decks in Noxus just because Noxus has no removal and this is good removal. But it is definitely counterable. It is very interactable. The way I read this, this completely fizzles to if you get hit by like a troll chant, right? If you use this on an ally that has exactly 5 power and your opponent casts troll chant to give it less power so that it is now a 3 power ally, the whole spell fizzles and your ally doesn't strike at all. And that hurts. However, it is fast. So you can, you know, there'll be a lot of situations where your opponent has to tap down pretty low and then you can like put this on the stack, and Noxus just doesn't have those. Noxus doesn't have a lot of things that you can put on the stack to scare out big units, right? So like this is gonna be an important card. It's not gonna like be amazing and incredible and game breaking or anything, but it is something that Noxus has been looking for a while, I think. So this is going to be a pretty good card. This is going to be an important card in the meta at the very least, right? At the very least. That's cool. That's a good card. I don't think it's like a busted card or anything, but I'm glad it's there. Then we got Thorn of the Rose, 3 mana 5/1. Okay. And then when I'm summoned, create a Guile in hand. Create a Guile in hand. Okay, a Guile. For those of you who might not know, Guile's not a card that sees a lot. Guile's a card that already exists in Legends of Runeterra. It's been in the game since the game was created. But it doesn't see much play. So if you're one of those people who's like, Guile, What's a Guile? I've never heard of that. It's a 1 mana spell in Noxus. It's 1 mana slow speed. It says stun an enemy. It's just 1 mana slow to stun an enemy unit. So this is 3 mana for a 5/1 that also just gives you a Guile, a 1 mana stun at slow speed in your hand. So for those of you who have played Hearthstone, this might, apart from the effect, this might look a little familiar to you. There's a card in Hearthstone that was in the base set called, I think it's called Magma Rager, which is just a 3 mana 5/1. And it's sort of known as being a bit of a noob trap card. Like, the 3 mana 5/1 is really awful, terrible garbage stats. Paying 3 mana for a 5/1 just so your opponent can kill it with something that does 1 damage, right? Like, this dies to Death Ray, right? Mark 1. This dies to Ice Shard. This dies to, you know, Vile Feast and Unspeakable Horror and Go Hard and all sorts of things that can just deal 1 damage. Make It Rain. There's Parley. They're like there's a million things that just kill something with 1 health. So I find it really difficult to imagine this getting, you know, this being put in a deck on purpose. I find that really difficult to imagine. There are scenarios in which this can be okay, but those scenarios kind of rely on your opponent not having access to pings, right? This is going to be fine against decks that can't just ping it down. Obviously, it is a 3 mana for a 5/1. It is 3 mana for something that will help activate Reputation. It's 3 mana for something that'll help push LeBlanc's level up and Sivir's level up and all that stuff. But I don't see it hitting very often. I get the feeling you're gonna play this and it's gonna die immediately and never deal any damage most of the time. Now, the fact that it summons a Guile in your hand as backup, you know, it does something immediately. So even if they trade it, if you play this and your opponent plays a Mystic Shot, you still have a card in your hand and your opponent doesn't. So, like, it's okay, but generally you should try not to put 3 mana 5/1s in your deck. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think I'm gonna say generally you should try to avoid putting 3 mana 5/1s in your deck. All right, then this card, Mirror Image. This is not something you can put in your deck on purpose. This is just something that LeBlanc creates. And it is a 2 mana slow speed. Summon an exact ephemeral copy of an ally with 5+ power. So this is the thing that LeBlanc makes every time she sees you deal 15 or more. You create a mirror image in your hand. And that's at slow speed and it's an ephemeral. So, like, and it's interruptible, right? If you use mirror image on, like, what they did in the trailer was they used mirror image on a LeBlanc who had like a might on her, right? And so they got like an extra 9/3 LeBlanc for a turn. But that's I don't know about this one. Now, you don't have to use it on a Blanc. You can use it on anything. The problem is, since it's an exact ephemeral copy, if they do anything to your unit, for instance, frostbites, you sort of, this whole thing, it doesn't literally fizzle, but it kind of fizzles. Right? Because then you get an ephemeral 0 attack unit. Actually, no, it actually literally fizzles, right? No, it actually literally fizzles because it requires the ally to have 5 or more power. So if you use this and your opponent frostbites your unit, this actually just completely fizzles. Man, Noxus hates frostbites, dude. Noxus hates frostbites. There's going to be a lot of stuff in the game when Shurima finally comes out. There's going to be a lot of stuff that can counter this, like Entomb, right? That will make this kind of sad. Kindred's new champion spell. I don't know. I don't think this seems very good. It's 2 mana slow to try to do something, but because it's a spell at slow speed, it gives your opponent one, a chance to respond with a spell, and then two, a chance to respond with a unit. Right? It does both of those things by playing this. Normally, if you're running a big deck, if you're running a deck with big, strong attacking units, those units, you know, you want to sort of pressure your opponent fast and you want to hit them hard before they can develop the blockers they want. And this seems too punishable. Mirror Image seems like it's going to be really easy to punish. It's going to, like, you know, you're going to play it, and if your opponent can't do anything about whatever you're casting it on, like say you cast this on like an Ancient Yeti, right? A 5/5 with Overwhelm. That's like a reasonable target for this. If you cast this on a 5/5 with Overwhelm, your opponent, well, they could Frostbite it, and then this just completely fizzles. They could, well, actually, the more I think about that, the better it seems. A Frostbite, a 5/5 with Overwhelm on like turn, I don't know, 6, 7. I mean, if they can kill it, right, it dies. If you have to do this on something with low health, like if you have to do this on a LeBlanc that only has 3 health, that would be bad, right? Because your opponent could just get excited and then you'll be real sad. But if you do it on something with more health, I guess it's probably okay. Yeah, I guess this could probably actually be pretty okay. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more it seems like interacting with this outside of Frostbites is pretty hard, at least for most decks in the meta right now. But again, stuff like Entomb, stuff like the new Shadow Isle stuff might make this a little sad. So I don't know. LeBlanc, again, she's only 3 mana, and that's good, but she seems okay. She seems okay and not completely busted. Having 2 health really is rough for this card. 3 mana for a 5/2 with quick attack is good if they can't just clear her, right? If you play this and your opponent just Mystic Shots LeBlanc, you're gonna be a sad panda. And Noxus does not have good ways of protecting her. I know some people are gonna be like, no, it's fine. You just play Sharpened Resolve. Ugh, that's gonna suck. Maybe this is a reason to play Sharpened Resolve, but like, yeah, LeBlanc seems okay. I don't think she's gonna be like the face of the meta or anything like that, but I've been wrong before. Black Rose Spy, on the other hand, seems like it's gonna be quite decent. I think this is gonna hit some Overwhelm decks and be a spicy pick for those Overwhelm decks. But yeah, Whispered Words as well, incredible card. This card is great. Mimic is a great addition to Noxus. This is a great like 4th and 5th decimate, you know, which frightens and concerns me, right? I don't want more decimates running around, and that's probably where this is going to be most seen. There's probably other things I'm not thinking of, but decimate is where I'm immediately thinking of with this card. Sigil of Malice doesn't seem great. Bloody Business seems like something Noxus has been missing for a long time, and something that'll kind of fill a hole that Noxus has required. That being said, it is not a great card in and of itself. It's a decent card. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's a decent to good card, but it's not a fantastic card. But it is going to see play because this is just something that Noxus has kind of wanted for a while. So glad that we're finally seeing that. Thorn Rose is just, you know, bring on the Magma Rager memes. But yeah, these four right here, Whispered Words, Mimic, Bloody Business, and Black Rose Spy, are gonna be pretty cool, pretty interesting cards. LeBlanc, maybe not so much. Thorn of the Rose, definitely not. And yeah, those are my initial impressions. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, my name is Game Boy Rob. I stream on Twitch Monday through Friday, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come hang out. We have a really awesome time. And yeah, look forward to tomorrow's video where hopefully we'll see Azir. Hopefully it'll finally be Azir. But yeah, until then, I will stop talking and I will see you guys in the next video.